Hello, this is Get Real 4 from the Kingsway Cafe, and my special guest today, fresh from the Oyster Cafe in River City, is Gina. Also known as Libby McArthur.
Now at the Kingsway Cafe.
Now at the Kingsway Cafe, yes. What do you think of our Kingsway Cafe, Libby?
Oh, Noreen, I have worked in places like this for years, and the amount of creativity that can come out of a space like this would blow your mind.
Mm-hmm. How did you start acting?
I don't know if it was a combination of being a kid that really needed more stimulus in my life because it was a scabby upbringing, and there wasn't enough going on. So I was always creating stuff. I was always making stories up or building things, or a fantasy land everywhere. So there was always an element of pretend and make-believe going on. And I think that's true for most kids, but for me, I just was always writing stories and poems and making up plays, and so it was just kind of constant for me. It was what I did, really. One of the things about me, which is maybe a wee bit different, is I've never been a student in my life. And even when I was at school, I wasn't a particularly good one, academically that is. I must admit that my path in terms of learning about my craft has all been work-centred. My background is community theatre, which is why I was saying places like this just take me right back to all the work that I used to do in the Gorbals and Easter House and well, just about every scheme in Glasgow and in Edinburgh. At one point I was the drama worker in residence, you know. Right. So drama and storytelling and creative writing workshops and drama workshops, and they were a constant for me all through my teenage 20s and 30s and 40s. I miss it.
So how did you get your job in River City?
Well, I had, at that point I had done just about all of the homespun products that we were lucky enough to have at that point. Dr. Finlay and Hamish Macbeth, and you know, it seems like Taggart's the only one that's left, you know. But I'd done a lot of telly. I'd written and directed a lot of theatre, especially with organisations like Redheads or the Funny Farm and stuff. I'd done quite a lot of theatre, but for me, telly had ended up being the kind of the majority of my earning for some reason. And as an actor, not theatre, although I have done quite a bit of theatre, it was mostly telly. I'd also done a stint, I don't know if you remember, as Andy Cameron's wife in High Road. Was it Winching Your Da? But, that was wonderful, and that taught me a lot. You know, people were really kind of diss soaps, and certainly High Road came in for a lot of stick in terms of it not being good enough or what. But an actor like Eileen McCallum, you know, working with her and working with the kind of people that were there, and that multi-camera shoot, which is so difficult to do as an actor, and churning it out, you know, it stood me in great stead for River City, which is hard work. But, you know, before River City was even known about, you know, say about 3 years before the casting happened, the set was getting built and people were talking about it. And anyone in the know was already getting excited, you know. And I was asked by someone, I know if I'd be interested in doing a soap, and I said, well, interested in doing a long-running drama where women feature highly? I think yes, you know. So we're desperate to get an audition for River City. You know, everybody wanted to audition for River City. And I was very happy to be offered the part of Gina, who, you know, I'm kind of crazy about. You know, I just love her.
Kingsway Eye.
Today we're on a tall ship, Glenlee, to interview David Cowan.
Well, actually, this weekend we've launched a new campaign. And we're asking people to come on board with us and consider the idea of sponsoring a flag. And in return, people would get a special certificate with a miniature flag featured on it. And also, we're working on a plan to install an area of the ship where people would have their name added to. And that would basically be a permanent feature on board the ship from that point onwards.
What attracts people to coming to the River Festival?
Well, in Glasgow, the Clyde's always been a huge part of people's lives, I think. And, you know, any excuse to get out and about.
What do you think about the regeneration of the Clyde?
I mean, I was talking to someone yesterday and they were saying that, you know, they remember the days when Glasgow was a major port. You know, ships were leaving to go all over the world from the River Clyde. And they were kind of lamenting those kind of days. But at the same time, it's nice to see some regeneration on the Clyde, with obviously the BBC are down here now, the Science Centre, of course the tall ship, Glasgow Harbour being down here as well. Glasgow's the sort of city I think it would be great to have the Clyde being a really active part of everybody's daily life here.
Yeah. And what was the Glenlee used for when it was sailing about? What did it bring into Glasgow?
Well, basically it was a cargo vessel taking different grains, coal, different products all the way around the world. The ship actually has travelled, circumnavigated the globe 4 times.
Wow.
So had quite a lot of adventures, you know, on the way.
You had a little battle there, didn't you?
Yes, a bit of a battle.
Who won the battle?
A standoff at the end. We got there, the captain, and they captured the daughter of our captain.
All right.
So eventually they came to understanding. They would sail off and they would meet again another day. We were asked along to fire the cannon because we are actually our Royal Artillery gun detail.
Wow.
We actually fire it with live ammunition for experimental purposes.
Right.
But so we were asked down today to go onto the Zebu to fire one of the cannons during the pirates' battle.
Kingsway Eye.
Do you think that the stories in River City actually depict Glasgow life?
You know, drama's never authentic. If it was authentic, you'd see someone wait 20 minutes to catch a bus, you know, and that would be half the programme gone, you know. So you know, obviously there's so much of the dramatic licence that allows you to, for people to suffer a great loss and grieve it for 10 minutes basically before they're on to the next story. So you know, obviously, you know, you could compare it to real life and it would find itself wanting in just about, you know, every turn. But as a kind of symbolic story of Glasgow, I think it's doing a fantastic job. There's something about Glasgow which I think has just such a wonderful combination of courage and friendliness, and you know, Glasgow's made more mistakes than anybody, you know, any other city I can think of, you know, and it's dragging itself kicking and screaming through this millennium, you know, the beginning of this millennium, trying to reinvent itself, and I think it's doing a fantastic job. I have such a feeling about Glasgow. So when River City started, it seemed to be telling that story. You know, you had the Oyster Cafe and then, you know, the tall ship, you know, was a bit like the Horseshoe Bar kind of thing. And then you had the kind of yuppie grill and the yuppie hairdressers. And it was almost like the two sides of Glasgow kind of trying to work, you know, what is Glasgow? Is it, you know, the Italian immigrants coming in with the Oyster Cafe and all that lovely mood of Glasgow, I think, is there. Not least, We have a character like Shell Suit Bob.
Oh,
now,
he's brilliant.
in a Ken Loach film, an Irvin Welsh novel, he would be a complete hopeless case, you know, on drugs or drink, or, you know, in River City, he's the moral centre of the peace, and I think that's more true of Glasgow. I actually think, you know, you go into any housing scheme in Glasgow, and you're more likely to find more decent folk there than not, you know.
I read in the paper there was going to be an episode where they brought asylum seekers to River City. Have they done that part yet?
It caused a lot of consternation, that episode. There was quite a big debate got up about it, you know. Certainly the intention was very clearly, you know, to say, isn't Glasgow a brilliant place for people to come? Isn't Glasgow a fantastic place? I met the Glasgow girls, you know. I was involved a wee bit with them and drum workshops and stuff like that, and you know, these fantastic young girls who are naturally politicised because of the circumstances and the Dawn raids and all that, who got it together to just, you know, I think it's one of the best stories ever that Glasgow's got to its credit, you know. And certainly Irene and I had both been involved in being a safe house for folk who were maybe finding themselves, like my friend works for Positive Action Housing, and there was a couple of times when we were asked to put folk up for a couple of nights. So it was in our lives, you know, that story. So that's why I really wanted to write about it.
I know in Kingsway here that we benefited from having asylum seekers here. That's a label I hate, sticking labels on people, but
sure,
that's what
it's hard to speak. I think Castlemock's done quite well as well. Noreen, being from Castlemock, I hear that Castlemock's got a very good reputation for getting it together as well. So thank God, you know, that's what we want. We need more of this, you know.
Yep, we do. Tell me, what's your name?
I'm Ian McIntyre.
You're Ian McIntyre, and what age are you, Ian?
I'm 16.
You're 16. What's your name?
I'm Mark Osborne.
Mark Osborne. What age are you?
I'm 16 also.
You're 16. So, when did you start playing these musical instruments?
About maybe 2 years ago.
2 years?
Yeah. We met in school and then we sort of realised that each of us played instruments, so why not form a wee band, and then I get sat beside them in English.
Have you ever played at the festival before?
No.
No, so that's your first time? Well, I want to say thank you very much for your little interview, right? I hope to see you as big mega stars in the future. Okay? Hi, we're here with two members of Bang Goes the Theory. This is David
Sass.
David Sass. How long have you been doing Bang Goes the Theory, David?
Well, we started planning about 6 months ago, but this is our first weekend, and we've had a wonderful weekend in Glasgow so far.
And I'm Mark Rackstraw, and I'm the location manager, so I look after the site while we're here and look up and find all the locations.
Where's that thing I went to try yesterday?
The thing you went to try yesterday?
You took the water out of it.
Ah, indeed. Yes, that was a resonant bowl, which you rub, and then it creates a sound wave travels through the water, and it moves the water up, and it's a fabulous effect. And it's there working now, so hopefully you get a go.
It's in there.
It's in
right
there, ready
now.
to go right now.
Right, we're going to go in and try it right now.
Kingsway Eye.
Young children coming up that want to be actors, actresses. Have you got any advice?
Well, Noreen, I have such a take on that subject. I have wee kids coming to me all the time and saying, I want to be famous, I want to be famous. And I go, what for? And they go, just famous, just famous, you know. And I think I have a workshop that I'd like to give on that, and I'd like to take it all over all the school, you know, and I want to speak to the kids and I want to say, look, you have a part of you that is desperate to express yourself, that's unique, a part of you that just wants to say what you've got to say. And I just want to say to the kids, you know, it's so not about celebrity, it's nothing to do with celebrity, and actually that gets in the way. That's actually, you know, for me, Noreen, the big workshop would be celebrity versus creativity, because at some level, the more one increases, the more threat it is to the other, you know. So for me, I want to say to the kids, you know, see that creative impulse in you, find it and use it. But it could be making films, it could be, you know, ironing, it could be gardening, it could be cooking, it could be flower arrangement, it could be relationships. Everybody's got a way of being gifted in that area. You know, I wish we didn't study algebra at school. I wish we studied, you know, Jade, or, you know, Heart the Path, you know. I mean, it's almost like you want to say to kids, you know, like, listen, I'm really sorry, but Elvis died in the toilet, and look what happened to Michael there. You know, we need to learn these lessons. That stuff makes us crazy. Yeah. You want to say to the kids, this will not make you happy. You know, it's all about separation, it's all about special, it's all about other than, and storytelling's about the opposite. It's about reminding us we're not alone, reminding us we're all the same, and all that connection that we have with each other. We're all Jock Thompson's bairns. That's what storytelling's about. Yep, that's it. And celebrity's about the opposite.
So can you tell me what the name of your group is here today?
We're working under the name of the Militant Wing of the Gall Gael Trust.
And how long have you been here?
We've been here the entire weekend. If you're asking how long we've been here annually,
years,
I think, yeah, there's parts of our network that traditionally support events like this. If we're about anything, we're about education, we're about promotion of all things and all artefacts, crafts, language, poetry, song, dance that come out of this land we now call Scotland.
And we're just here showing people how to use the weapons, what the weapons were for, how they evolved, and how it became to be the people we are today, basically.
These weapons and our ability with these weapons were all that stood between us and the many invaders that came to the shores of Scotland. They're all that stood between us and the total decimation of our families, our clans and our loved ones.
You were saying to me about the address in the haggis on your website.
Well, yes, aye. This is just a new approach to some burns, or if you like, an ancient approach to some burns. Wherefore your honest sonsy face, great chieftain o' the pudding race, aboon am I attack your place, pain, stripe or therm. Will are you worthy o' a grace, as long as my arm, etc. And we go into that.
Okay, right. Well, thank you very much for this interview. Thank you. Thank you too. Right, we're down at the paddle steamer, the Waverley, and I'm interviewing
Ian Quinn.
How long have you been on the Waverley?
25 years.
And what's your position on the Waverley?
Quartermaster. And also the commentary. I do the commentary on it as well. Today's been a good success. We've had over 800 people so far, and we've got another good boatload for Clydebank again. So, very successful day. So what other places do you sail to when you're here in Scotland? All over. We start usually in the beginning of the season in Oban in the Western Isles, Fort William area. And then in the Clyde we sail from everywhere really that can take us. From Glasgow, Helensburgh, Doon, Rossie, Millport, Ayr, Campbelltown, Tinnabrew. And when you leave the Clyde, where do you go then? South coast, Isle of Wight, Southampton, along the Dorset coast. And then eventually finishing up in the Thames, London. Okay. Right. Well, thank you. Thank you very, very much.